All right, we are live. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Mother Earth's Last Dance show. I am your host, Elijah. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I love you. And I appreciate you taking time out of your day to click this video. I would love it if you stay with me through this whole process. It took me a long time to finally set this up. And I thank you so much for being here. This is the introduction show, so this is technically the first episode. I am pre-recording this show just so I can go back and look at it, make sure I don't look like a complete idiot. We'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be great. I'm really excited to do this show. Thank you so much for tuning in. So how this is going to work for this first episode is I'm going to give a detailed introduction to who I am, what this show is all about, where we've been as a collective, where we are now, and where we are going into the future. I know a lot of you have anxiety about what is going on in the world. So I'm here to hopefully bring some inspiration to you on any given day. To let you know, if you're tuning in, I'm going to broadcast this show live every single day, well, Monday through Friday, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. This time may vary. This just happens to be the time that works for me right now. So if you cannot catch it live, if you live in a different part of the world, then I really encourage you to watch this the next day. And even though it won't be live, you can still tune in. Either way, I appreciate you being here. I'm really excited for this journey. It took me a long time to get to this point. Those of you who are behind the camera, you don't really put out content, you just kind of watch things, which is fine. That's how I was for a long time too, and now I'm finally making myself public, and I'm going to start doing this regularly because I feel it in my heart and soul. This is what I need to do. So it's a very long process setting all of this up. I can't believe how long it took. I'm not very tech savvy, you see. I've never been good at utilizing technology. I don't even have a smartphone. I don't want a smartphone. And that's a whole other topic, but I had to buy all the right equipment. I had to learn the equipment. I had to download software. I had to learn Photoshop. Oh, for somebody who's not tech savvy, it was quite the feat. So I'm quite proud of myself for this achievement thus far. Anyway, well, I thank you very much for being here. So let me introduce myself here. Who am I? I'm Elijah. That is the name I'm choosing to go by. It's not my birth name. It's not my legal name. It's a name that I'm choosing to go by because I feel like it resonates who I am as a soul. It's just who I'm choosing to go by. I'm not trying to hide from anybody. I'm not trying to hide anything. It's just a name that I'm going by. I'm going by Elijah Merriweather. That is my name. Now, I run the website unitingunbound.com. And I'm going to start being more active on the website. I'm going to post articles. I have a whole poem series that I'm reciting in video form. I'm going to put out that content regularly. But this show, the Mother Earth's Last Dance show, is going to be the center and foundation of my work going forward. I'm going to do it consistently. I recognize that it'll take some time to build up an audience, which is okay. I want to also let you know, we're not always going to agree on everything. That's okay. That is okay. It really is. None of us are going to agree all the time. All right. So I'm going to get into the format of the show, but I'm going to continue with this introduction here. So I decided to do this because I have to. All right. I've been staying out of the public eye for many different reasons, not the least of which is I despise social media. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of it. I can't stand it. I know why these platforms were created the way that they are. I'm tired of all the disinformation. I'm tired of all the gurus. I'm tired of all the charlatans. I'm tired of all these people who are going on the internet and they're trying to place themselves above other people, proclaiming that they know everything. And I'm not into the follower mentality. Let's just say that. So what I'm going to promise to you right now, watching this, I will never talk down to you. Just like I hope you never talk down to me. I don't like that. I don't like the leader-follower mentality. I despise it. The whole idea of fan culture. And sure, I could sit up here and call out all the people within the truth community, the spiritual community, awake and aware community. Nonsense. Oh, there's no community. No, just people with different levels of consciousness, having different experiences, commingling, arguing with one another. And it is what it is. Nothing is perfect. But I am here right now because I have something to give. All right? If you are coming to this video, you were probably brought here for a reason. Because you recognize all the horrible atrocities befalling this world. You know about all the conspiracies. You have a certain level of spiritual awareness. You're connected with Mother Earth. Everything about this world is about Mother Earth. And you know about the crazy things that are happening right now in this world. I'm not even going to verbalize it. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm well aware of what's happening. The enslavement of the human race. The control system, Illuminati shit. I'm aware of it all. On such a deep level, I cannot even talk about it publicly. All right, I'm going to put on this public persona here and talk about the things that really matter, which is Mother Earth. Everything revolves around Mother and our connection with Mother. Everything else is just trivial. I've been down all the rabbit holes. Believe me, over the years, I'm aware of all this stuff going on in the world. More than you might imagine. All right? And I want to also make it known that where I'm coming from here is I'm not in a place where I'm speaking from a standpoint of theory, of speculation. I'm well beyond that. I've had my own direct experiences where I'm in a place where I know. And that comes with humility. And we're going to get to that in this show here. All right? Even though I know everything that I know, I have to be humble and say I don't know absolutely everything, but there are a lot of things that I do know that I can't speak about publicly. So this show is going to be a public outlet for me to connect with those people who see through the facade, through the lies, the deceptions, those who are tuned to higher levels of consciousness, the divine will. All right? I'm speaking to you. I am no longer interested in pandering to primitive consciousness. I'm done. I am done catering to the average person who refuses to wake up. And you know what? We don't need to worry about them anymore. If you are coming to this video and you are a Mother Earth warrior, you are a truth seer, that you love Mother, you're connected with Spirit, this show is for you. Because I know that you might have some anxiety about what is happening with the whole rollout of the jabs, right? And yeah, make no mistake about it, I'm not going to mince words here. We are in the end times. And no, it's not just speculation on my part. No, it's not. I know what is going to be happening. And I'm going to tell you the truth right now. I'm not going to lie to you. There are going to be... excuse me here. Let me just emphasize my point here. There's going to be no mass arrests. There's going to be no disclosure. There's going to be no massive spiritual revolution. I'm sorry, but there's not. Do not be discouraged, because we are going to create a beautiful world, you and I. You who have spent years going down those rabbit holes, you've been fighting to defend the truth. And you know in all of your heart what this reality is all about. And you are frustrated by your friends and family who won't listen to you. They're just going along with this agenda in a state of ignorance. They're blind. They're not paying attention. I know. I've gone through all that as well. I'm well aware. And it's hard. All right? It's hard. And the more that you know about what is happening, the harder that it is to go to work every day, to interact with quote-unquote sheeple, right? These people who are mind-controlled and programmed to just flow with the matrix. I'm aware. I know. It's frustrating. But I'm going to tell you right now, we are going to create a beautiful world. We are going to prevail. Yes, we are. Oh, you betcha we are. But I'm not going to lie to you. There is no saving this current world. And why would you want to? When you have a world that is built on a foundation of lies, deception, competition, arrogance, destruction of our planet, and that's embedded in our framework of socialization, economics, everything, and you want to hold on to this world? Are you kidding me? No, you can't. You cannot modify this world in any way to make it work when you have a foundation built the way it is. No, this world is slated for extinction. It's done. And you have to accept this. Do not be discouraged by this. This is a good thing. I know a lot of you, especially if you have a family to take care of, that it's frightening. What is going to happen? This world is going to collapse. I'm telling you that right now. It is going to collapse because it has to. But you know what? Even though it has to collapse, we are still going to go and create a beautiful world. Those who choose the right path. And where do you find this path? It is a secret path. I know where it is. I'm going to the next world. Absolutely I am. And if you're watching this video, you're probably going to be one of the few who go to this world as well. And, I could harp on the whole 144,000. There is some truth to that. There is going to be an Exodus 2.0, mark my words. Those who choose the right path, even though this world cannot be saved, everything looks hopeless. It seems like there's no way we can wake up all of our brothers and sisters in this world. Don't worry about that. We don't need to. They have made their choices. You understand this? They have already made their choice, just as you have made. Well, no, you still have to make a choice. Because as these agendas are going to play out, there has to be a balance of the dark and the light. The divine is going to give us a path, those who can find it, but the dark aspects of this universe, the dark forces and entities controlling this world, they're laying out their deceptions too, and this is part of the divine plan. This is the division, separating the wheat from the chaff. Those who can see beyond the deceptions, and I'm going to stay with me, and I will help you through this. All right, I'm going to share more truth details privately off of this platform, and we could stay connected that way, and I will share with you. But I'm only going to share that knowledge and information with Mother Earth warriors. All right, I'm not going to pander to low-level primitive consciousness anymore. No more kindergarten-level consciousness. I'm tired of it. I'm through with them. I'm here for you. With you. All right? One thing I promise is I'm not going to talk down to you. I'm not going to be a guru. I am here as a friend and as a brother. That's all. Somebody who has a big heart and the wisdom to see where we're going. So stay with me And we're going to get through this together, I promise you. I'm not interested in quantity. I'm interested in quality. If there are 5 people who watch my videos every day, awesome. That's all I want. Excuse me. So anyway, I want to segue into other aspects of who I am. So I run the website Uniting Unbound. I call it Uniting Unbound because those of us who are going to go to the next world, those of us who are linked with Mother, we are going to unite. It doesn't have to be right now. You know, we live in a world where we're all just trying to live, right? We all have jobs one way or another. We have to make money. We all have our different websites. I get it. I know. But there's going to come a time very soon where we will unite. For all of you Tolkien fans, think about The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Think of the Battle of the Black Gate, okay? That's going to be us. And it's not going to be a physical confrontation. We're going to get the F out of here. And, you know, I'm going to say there, I am going to swear. From now and then, I am going to cuss. And don't say that I'm not spiritual because I cuss. Because there is value for the word, for various words to emphasize an emotion. So I will cuss every now and then. That's okay. So we are uniting, and we're uniting unbound because we are unbound by the limitations of this matrix, the limitations that these people place upon us. No, we are going to unite in imagination, heart, and will, the foundations of magic, how we manifest things in this world with our thoughts, emotions, actions, imagination, heart, and will. We are united, unbound. Yes. Okay. And I want you to take a look at this backdrop here. So behind me, you see 4 colors: black, white, red, and yellow. I don't know if you've ever seen this color pattern before, but it's actually what is called the medicine wheel in Native American culture. And actually, this symbol has been around for a long time, thousands of years. And Native Americans have their own perspective on it, and I can't just put my own viewpoint on what they see it as, but what I see it as and what I know it means is, if you look right down here, my symbol, right? You have a circle. A circle is a symbol of the infinite nature of the universe. Consistent, continual rebirth, eternity. The circle is a divine symbol. The Ouroboros, that is a serpent. And those maybe those people who have these Christian programming might think when I use the serpent as a symbol that I must be satanic or something like that. Get out of here. No. That's not, even Christ said, be wise as serpents. The serpent is not a satanic symbol by any means. The serpent is a symbol for wisdom. And the Ouroboros of the serpent biting its own tail is a universal symbol of rebirth. All right? Eternity. Divinity. All right? And the black, white, red, and yellow colors represent the 4 colors of humanity: black, white, red, yellow. People of African origin, Caucasian people, American Indians, and those of Asian descent. And then you might think of their other colors like brown people. How to look at that is people who have a brown complexion would be a mix of these different colors. And I've made a video in the past on this channel describing this in further detail. We were split a long time ago after Atlantis into these 4 colors. Our collective consciousness was split It doesn't mean we're lacking. We are all whole just the way that we are. But as a collective, we're split in these colors. And there's reason for that. But our destiny is one day to come together, all four colors, and to mix into one color once again and have one unified language, one overarching spiritual understanding. All right, that is all down the pipeline. We're going to get there. All right? And each four color of humanity has a specific gift, a specific spiritual and mental, emotional makeup. All right? So this is about all of us coming together, the human race. Every single one of us matters. If you're watching this, you matter. You absolutely matter. You are beautiful just the way that you are, and I love you. I do. I absolutely love you. So let's get on with this. So this show is all about Mother. Nothing is more important than Mother Earth. Nothing is more important than Mother Earth, Gaia Sophia. If you don't believe in Mother Earth, then you're obviously not tuned in. And what are you doing here? Not just on this show. What are you doing on this planet? Everything is about Mother Earth. Not just as a planet and the physical manifestations of plants and animals. Spirit. Mother Earth. Everything is about Mother. The whole human story, all of our history, all the tragedy that has befallen the human race has befallen Mother Earth. What we have done to her. All right? And she loves us anyway, and she is patient. This show is dedicated to my beloved mother and your beloved mother. We are brothers and sisters, you and I. We may not always agree on everything. We might, get upset at one another from time to time. But in the end, nothing can break our spiritual connections with one another. This show is dedicated to Mother Earth. Okay? So, I want to touch on that. Who is Mother Earth? I'm not going to preach to you here. But I'm going to let you know that I'm coming from a perspective of direct knowing. I'm not going to talk down to you, all right? If you're watching this, you probably already know this. So forgive me if I'm just repeating things that you know. But let's just get it out of the way right now. Who is Mother? All right? Our planet has a spirit. We are all splinters of Mother. We're all individual pockets of consciousness, splinters of her, different personalities. We are different notes through the great harmonious universal song emanating from Source. And I am going to use the word God too. And if you have an issue with that, I don't know what else to say. All right, use the word source, the underlying intelligence of nature. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. All right, I don't have any religion. There's truth to all religions, but there are also deceptions and distractions in all these religions as well. They're meant to fit together like a tapestry. I don't have a religion. No. I look at where the truth is. I look where it all connects. All right, so Mother Earth is our planet. Now, chances are you watching this video, you already have spiritual alignment, right? So you already know these things. So you have a higher self. I have a higher self. We exist on different planes of existence, all at the same time. In this physical realm, time is an illusion, but it exists. It's what allows us to explore, grow, evolve. But outside of the physical realm, we exist on mental planes, spiritual planes, and all the way up to Source. where there is no separation, right? Mother Earth, our planet, has a higher self as well, who sits next to the Father, God, whatever you want to use. She is the divine mother of all creation. She is the source of the divine feminine. All of you, all the women who are watching this, again, I'm not preaching. I'm sure you already know this. I'm just getting this all out now. We are all aspects of mother, but you, all the women, you are direct aspects of mother, and you carry her love to this realm. All right. So mother is outside of the physical creation bubble, but she's also in it with us, and her personality is Gaia Sophia on this particular planet. Mother Earth. Everything is about Mother Earth. This thing is shaking. There we go. I'm getting excited here, folks. Okay. What else do I have here? One thing I also want to make known here. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. As best as I can, I despise hypocrisy, and I do my best to not be a hypocrite in all situations. And one thing I very much dislike, I do not like being advertised at. I have ad blocker on my browser, so every time I go to a YouTube video, no advertisements. Anytime I go to any website, no advertisements. Because I despise advertisements. Hate them. They make me so angry. I do not like being advertised at. Therefore, I'm never going to advertise at you. I'm not going to monetize this channel. No. I understand we all need to make money, and this is how YouTube makes money. Well, we don't need YouTube. Get rid of it. I don't want it. Anything that's built with the foundation of this predatory marketing and advertising, I hate it. I don't like it. And if you go to my website, I will never have a pop-up that comes up when you go to a page right in your face. I hate that. If I go to a website and I see that, I'm done. I don't want you. I don't like being advertised at. Now, from time to time, I think all of us need to tell people, like, oh, this is my Patreon. This is how you can do that. That's fine. I get it. I'm not going to just totally disparage people, but I'm not going to sit up here and say, hey, like, share, subscribe. I'm not going to run that script. No, I'm done with that shit. I despise it. Oh, it's just running the same fucking script. All these fucking people. Like, share, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I can't stand it. Man. All right, maybe I'm getting off on a tangent now. But anyway, I'm not going to advertise at you. All right. Now, there are ways to support this show, which we'll get into, and I'm not going to look at that as advertisement because this is all about a community, and this is how you can support my effort here, right? Anyway, how to support this show. So, promise, I'm not being a hypocrite here. So, this is where we get into how this show runs. All right. So, what I'm going to do here for the Mother Earth's Last Dance show is I'm going to choose one topic every single day. I'm going to feature one topic, and I'm going to run this topic through the gamut of 3 overarching perspectives: natural law, altruism, and traditional ecological knowledge. Hold on one sec. Sorry about that. I had to burp. So I'm going to run a topic through these perspectives, which we're going to get to here in a little bit. Now, for right now, I'm going to have to choose the topic because I'm going to have to start building up an audience. All right, so I'm going to choose my own topic every day. But if you're watching this video, you can be a part of this. I want you to be a part of this. So at any time, you can go to my website, unitingunbound.com unbound.com/show. Let me actually pull it up here. So go to unitingunbound.com/show. And when you get there, you'll see a form. You can fill out this form. It's free. All right. And you could submit a topic that I might use on a future show. And that's a way for you to contribute, to be a part of this community. And I welcome it. I as long as it's within reason, you know, I might use your topic on a future show. And I'll read it all and I'll credit you and everything, right? Something else I need to mention for this show. So at any time, you know, when I'm going to speak throughout this show, I'm going to run this topic through these perspectives. At the end of each show, I am going to read your comments and questions. How can you submit a comment or question? It's very easy. You just go to this link right here. streamelements.com/unitingunbound/tip. It's also linked in the description. You can go there at any time and you could submit a comment or question. And if it's reasonable, at the end of the show, I will read them. Then we can have an interaction. All right. Now, not only will you have your comment or question read, guaranteed to be read, but you'll also be supporting this show at the same time. And for that, I'm deeply grateful. So that is my little bit there. I'll probably repeat that every day. That'll be part of my spiel. Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, everybody, welcome to the Mother Earth's Last Dance show. All right, we have a wonderful topic here to talk about. I think this is very, very important. But first, I'm going to read a poem. Every day before I officially start this show, I'm going to read a poem because poetry is music of the soul. If you don't like poetry, that's fine. I get it, but it's just like music. And I think all of us can interpret poems in a certain way, and we can always revisit these poems as we get older and have different experiences. And I think they're quite beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and read this poem here. This poem for today's show is called, right here, Mending Wall by Robert Frost. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that sends the frozen groundswell under it, and spills the upper boulders in the sun, and makes gaps even two can pass abreast. The work of hunters is another thing. I have come after them and made repair where they have left not one stone on a stone, but they would have the rabbit out of hiding to please the yelping dogs. The gaps, I mean, no one has seen them made or heard them made, but at spring mending time we find them there. I let my neighbor know beyond the hill, and on a day we meet to walk the line and set the wall between us once again. We keep the wall between us as we go, to each the boulders that have fallen to each. And some are loaves and some so nearly balls, we have to use a spell to make them balance. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. We wear our fingers rough with handling them. Oh, just another kind of outdoor game. One on a side, it comes to little more. There where it is, we do not need the wall. He is all pine and I am apple orchard. My apple trees will never get across and eat the cones under his pines, I tell him. He only says good fences make good neighbors. Spring is the mischief in me, and I wonder if I could put a notion in his head. Why do they make good neighbors? Isn't it where there are cows? But here there are no cows. Before I built a wall, I'd ask to know what I was walling in or walling out, and to whom I was like to give offense. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that wants it down. I could say elves to him, but it's not elves exactly, and I'd rather he said it for himself. I see him there, bringing a stone grasped firmly by the top in each hand, like an old stone savage armed. He moves in darkness, as it seems to me, not of woods only and the shade of trees. He will not go beyond his father's saying, and he likes having thought of it so well, he says again, good fences make good neighbors. And there you go, folks. So I encourage you all to look at that poem deeper because it's especially relevant to this topic, which we're about to get into. Why do we have fences? We're all one human family. It really is silly when you think about it. And don't you dare think I'm saying private property shouldn't exist. That's not what I'm saying. All right. But we have walls everywhere separating us from nature. Just imaginary borders in the form of countries and states. It's madness. What the fuck are we doing? Anyway. So that's that. Now we're actually going to officially get into the show here. So again, if you all want to submit a topic, go to unitingunbound.com/show and unitingunbound.com/show, and you can possibly see your topic on a future show. Anyway, let's get into today's topic. What is today's topic? Today's topic is, it is very clear that there is a great divide between the left and right politically. How does this schism become so volatile, and what does this say about human consciousness? Where can we go from here to find healing and more harmony? All right. This is a topic that is very important for today because it's very clear that the left and right is as divided as ever. But then again, you have to ask yourself, why is there a left and a right? Why? Both have valid points. Both have really stupid, ridiculous points. What is this madness? Well, I can tell you right now that this whole left-right paradigm was created by dark occultists who run this world and who are controlling humanity. Oh, yeah? You betcha. And they know exactly what they're doing. You have the people on the left, Democrats and Republicans, who first off believe in government. They like being slaves. Okay, if that's not enough, then look at the way that their minds are programmed. It's like it's like they're out of the same mold. You can go anytime and locate just by looking at somebody if they're on the left or the right. Somebody who's on the right usually has a beard, they'll have a truck, right? Those types of people aren't going to be on the left. And people on the left, they tend to look a certain way. And, I don't mean to disparage people. Everybody has their unique personalities, but they're still coming from the same programming. There's a script running in their head that's from years and years of indoctrination by a bunch of dark occultists who are working behind the scenes of this world, manipulating humanity. And that is why the title of this show is The Left, the Right, and the Dunce. You want to know who the dunce is? It's everybody. Everybody who's on the left, everybody who's on the right, they're all dunces. And if you happen to be watching this video and you're offended by that, I don't care. I'm tired of this shit. What's the matter with you? Get that programming out of your head. And we're going to go through why as this show goes. There are valid points on both. Why would you just put yourself in one camp? Just like, why would you ever call yourself a Christian? Even though all Christians in this world who call themselves Christians, they're not true Christians. They're not living the way that Christ came here and told us we should be living. Not at all. He never wanted a religion to be created off of him. He never wanted us to create governments. No, he was an anarchist. And we're going to get into what an anarchist is in further detail here. All right? And we're going to get into greater detail about who Christ actually was. And no, I'm not coming from a point of speculation. I'm not going to go much detail about why. All right. Humility, right? Okay, so the left and the right. What is going on here? Why is there this big rift within human consciousness? Well, we're going to explore that right now through perspective number 1. All right. So, perspective number 1 is natural law. What is natural law? Well, natural law is a body of non-man-made, binding, all-pervading, immutable, universal spiritual laws which govern the dynamics of consciousness and the consequences of behavior for beings who are capable of understanding the difference between right and wrong. Okay. And that quote, that definition is by Mark Passio. I chose to use that definition because I think he put it more succinct than anybody else. He's done a phenomenal job. If you do not know who Mark Passio is, check him out. His website is whatonearthishappening.com. He has a whole 8-hour presentation on what natural law is. And natural law is the most important thing any person can possibly understand. All right. Now, Mark Passio, excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. Now, Mark Passio has his own style of interpreting natural law or verbalizing it, right? And he's done a damn good job. All right, but you have to understand it's not exclusive to Mark Passio. Natural law is a part of the universe. It's always there. All right, this is not man's law. Natural law is... It's always been there, and it's here right now, and it's always going to be here. All right? This is spiritual law, God's law. I don't care if you don't like that word. I'm going to use it. You're going to have to get over it. I get it. I was an atheist for 8 years, okay? I understand all the arguments, but I'm sorry. You have to understand there is an underlying intelligence of the universe that is actively working with us and through us to ultimately create a world that is harmonious with these universal laws and principles. Now, natural law, it's actually quite simple, but there are many different components of it. So I encourage you to go to his website or go to YouTube and look up his seminar and watch his entire seminar. Or if you don't like his abrasiveness, which, I understand, but you kind of got to get over it. It's the information that matters. If you don't like the way that he verbalizes it, you can go to my website, unitingunbound.com. I have a whole section on my website called Natural Law, where I use Mark Passio's, a lot of his slides, his images, and I break it down in my own way, and I try to be a little bit softer about it. So if maybe you would prefer to read rather than watch, then go to my website and look at it. And I'm grateful for Mark Passio for having the mentality of sharing his work. He doesn't copyright his stuff. He lets people use his work and build off of it because he knows there's nothing new under the sun. And the more information we share with one another, as long as we don't corrupt it, that the stronger we are going to be as a collective. And I'm going to say the same thing. If I ever, put out my own work, you're welcome to use it any way you want to. You don't need my permission. You don't need to credit me. Just feel free to use it. All I ask is you don't corrupt my message. Don't twist my words. All right? So, natural law. All right? You have to understand that natural law is all about behaviors. All right? The physical laws, the laws of physics, they can be measured, right? Okay, we know these laws, and they can be measured through laboratory instruments. All right? You have to understand that natural law governs the consequences of behavior. Our behavior in this earthly realm matters. Because spirit, we are nothing without spirit. Spirit is all pervading in the universe. Everything we do, we say, we think, we feel is recorded, and it becomes a part of this universal consciousness, okay? There are consequences to our behavior, how we interact with one another on this planet. The only issue, or not issue, the thing you have to understand about this is it takes a while to sometimes see the consequences of our behavior. All right? Time is an illusion, but in the end, we cannot escape what we do here. You may not receive all the consequences of your horrible, harmful behavior in this world, but when you get out of your physical body, you can bet your sweet ass that you will have to face the consequences. And it's not going to even be God looking down at you and judging you. It's going to be you judging yourself. You as a soul are going to look at all your deeds in this world and you're going to say, what did I do? How could I have been so stupid? How could I have let my ego get the better of me? And you are going to judge yourself, and you are going to put yourself wherever you need to be. You'll go somewhere else and work off some karma. Yeah, you can bet on that. All right? So all of us as individuals and as a collective, there are consequences to our behavior. Sometimes it's immediate. Cause and effect. Right? Where energy goes, energy flows. And I think that's the saying. I don't know. But if you make a decision in this world, there are consequences, whether they're good, bad, or neutral. There's something that comes to you. All right? And sometimes bad things just happen to good people. That's also a part of the universe. That's a universal law, right? Sometimes bad things happen because the universe has good and bad in it. It has to for the universe to work. There has to be dark. There has to be light. In order for light to be seen, there has to be dark. Dark is not evil. We all have dark in us. We all have a shadow. And there is such thing as righteous anger. Anyway, natural law. Let's go into this a little bit further. So, here's a chart by Mark Passio. Let's go over this. Okay. So this is another thing that comes from Mark Passio. Look and study this. I'm going to bring this up every single show because it's important. Look at the green boxes. Look at the red boxes. You have love and you have fear. These are two energies that are present within the universe. And yes, if there's a God, there has to be the devil. Let's just say it. I'm getting it out right now. That is not exclusive to Christianity. You better believe it. You better believe that there is a dark being in this universe. His essence is embedded in the fabric of this universe, and it manifests through fear and hate and bitterness, resentment, jealousy, envy, all that stuff. You better believe it. And you know what? I'm going to go one step further. You better believe your ass that he is manifest in this world, in the physical flesh, right now. I know who he is. Oh, believe me, I know who he is because I know him personally. And I'm not going further than that. But yes, he is deceiving a lot of people, even people within the spiritual community. That is all I'm going to say about that right now. The greatest trick the devil ever played was convince people that he doesn't exist. And he gotcha. Oh, man, did he get humanity. Anyway, Elijah, let's move forward, shall we? So you have love and you have fear. Going from the top to bottom. All right. How the generative polarity, as Mark Passio uses it, is love or fear. This is what we use to create. This is All of our actions are based on love or fear in some way. So, going down, how it starts. Okay, love grows with the accumulation of knowledge. All right, fear grows through persistent ignorance. All right, knowledge does not always feel good. Sometimes it's hard, it hurts, it's scary, but you know what? It's the truth. And you better align yourself to truth, otherwise you're going to be in the red. And a lot of people are in the red, and they are going to continue to be in the red. They're not going to have a very fun ending to all of this. Let me tell you that. So you love, knowledge, the internal expression, what happens inside of us, is sovereignty. Now, Mark Passio calls it internal monarchy because you are the king or queen of yourself. All right? I own my body and mind. You own your body and mind. And we don't own one another. We can't infringe on one another's rights to express ourselves as long as we don't harm another sentient being. All right? So on the negative side, you have confusion. So on the internal, you have internal anarchy. All right? Now, anarchy means no masters. No masters or no rulers. That's all. It doesn't mean chaos. It doesn't mean aggressiveness or control. It doesn't mean that. It just means no master, no ruler. So, on the fair side, on the inside, when you live with the energy of fair, you are confused internally. Because you don't own your body and mind. You're not the master of your domain. All right? Going down. The external expression for love is freedom. You know the truth. You actualize the truth. You align yourself to it, even if it's scary. And you're free. Sometimes freedom can be scary. You understand this. Sometimes freedom is scary. You look at a bird in a cage. Of course, the bird is safe, right? Of course, the bird is safe. But the birds who are outside, although there are predators everywhere, there are temperature changes, they're free. And you know what? The external world, when you're free, can be scary. But at least you're free to make your own decisions, right? So let's go back to this. All right. So for the negative side, how this manifests is control, or he puts it, external monarchy. You're going to have a government, a ruling class owning you, owning your body and mind. You are a slave because you live in fear and you do not want to have the responsibility of creating a society where you actively take care of your community, your brothers and sisters. It's a lot of work. And most people are choosing the easy route of having the government take care of them. And ultimately, they are enslaved because of it, right? So going down the list, love ultimately leads to order. That's what we manifest in the world. Order in alignment with universal laws and principles, the divine, God's will. Fear, the energy of fear, manifests chaos in the world. All right? You understand this? That's what we see. There's chaos everywhere. Look at all the different governments, the nations, the invisible borders. It's madness. What is this nonsense? You cross over to a different state in the United States. You can own a gun here, but you can't own a gun here. What? Either it's right or it's not. Man's law is not the same as natural law. Man's law can be created on a whim, all right, by a very flawed human being. But universal law is always there, and we better align ourselves to it. You understand this? Okay? So, what else do I want to get to here? Okay. So, what I want to look at now, let's direct your attention over here. All right. So, to understand the left and right paradigm, everybody, you have to understand how this manifests. Look at this this chart here. This is another Mark Passio image. All right. This is our brain. We have a left hemisphere, which is the red, and a right hemisphere, which is the blue. All right. So the left side of our brain has masculine energy. This is our intellect. Logic, analytic thought, science, and math. Our right hemisphere is intuitive. This is feminine energy. Creativity, holistic thought, compassion. All right. We all have masculine energy and feminine energy. All of us do. Man, woman, and child. This is how we are, because this is how the universe is. There's masculine principles, there's feminine principles, right? So this is important. Let's go down here. So there is a mental schism within our world. You have people who are left brain dominant, and you have people who are right brain dominant. There's not a balance. All right, people on the left are, they have rigid skepticism, scientism, atheism, solipsism, moral relativism, social Darwinism, eugenics, authoritarianism. These are people on the left. They tend to have these qualities. People on the right tend to have these qualities: naivete, blind belief, religious extremism, solipsism, unworthiness, self-loathing, order follower, and a willing slave. Now, when I say left and right here, I'm not talking about Democrat and Republican. I'm just saying this is a schism within human consciousness. This actually happens. All right? Most people do not have a balance between their brain hemispheres. They do not have a little bit of masculine and a little bit of feminine. All right, you can be a very masculine man who's very empowered, who gets things done, who's action-oriented, who protects his community, his loved ones, but you can also still have that underlying feminine energy of compassion, empathy, intuition, creativity, right? And vice versa. That's how this is meant to be. Now let's go back to this. All right. So these are different programs that run in people's heads. Either you believe only in science, you don't believe God exists, or you only believe in God and you don't have any power to change things, right? It's a big divide and a big extreme. Let's go down here. So the worldview schism here. All right, people who are left brain dominant would see the universe as a grand accident because they're very they're very logical in their thinking. There's no creator, therefore there's no underlying intelligence in nature. There's no such thing as spiritual, moral, and natural law. Existence has no purpose other than to continue to exist. All right, and it leads to scientism, atheism, etc. People are right brain dominant. God controls everything about creation, and we don't have free will, right? Everything's preordained. Since God controls everything, change is impossible. Action is ultimately meaningless. This leads to slavethink, right? Okay, let's go down here. What happens here? Trauma. Trauma is a force that causes a split in someone's consciousness. It causes a split in the mind, body, spirit complex, right? Leading to these guys here. You got Golem and you got Smeagol. So you got a bunch of Golems in the world. You got a bunch of Smeagols. And if you're familiar with the Lord of the Rings, Smeagol turned into Golem When his ego got out of control, when he allowed himself to be controlled by materialism, by forces that he couldn't fully understand, all right? And you have to understand where Golem, it's not Gollum. Hey guys, it's not Gollum. It's Golem. That's how you pronounce it. It's Golem. Because it's based off of Jewish mysticism of the golem, a Golem golem, which is a figure that is made out of clay and given it's animated clay, and that is a symbol for human consciousness. All right. Golem is a symbol of what people are turned into when they allow themselves to be programmed a certain way. So then their consciousness splits and they continue to oscillate between overly dominant with the ego here and just being very not self-aware, being angry and bitter all the time, blaming everybody, and then reverting back to the Smeagol, which is victim consciousness. Everybody's out to get me. I have no power. Everything is hopeless. Nobody loves me. And it's tragic because this is what trauma does to people. And I'm not trying to, let me make it very clear here. I'm not trying to disparage people because we all go through trauma. I've gone through trauma and I've reverted to this brain pattern. I have. I admit it. I freely admit it. I've been there. We all do, because that's what trauma does. If something horrible happens to a person, it's not their fault, but it splits somebody's consciousness. All right? And it's tragic, and I have so much compassion for people who suffer PTSD and depression, anxiety, personality disorders. And we have to work on healing each other and healing ourselves so we can start to repair this damage. So I'm not disparaging anybody here. This is just to help elicit the point here of the whole brain schism. So natural law, we have to align ourselves to natural law. We can live in love or we can live with fear. Both lead to consequences. These consequences are brought out by these universal laws, and we have to align ourselves to them. All right? Now, the way humanity has been living in this world, slowly over time, people have been divided to be on the left or the right. You have people on the left who are leaning towards communism. Maybe they're more entitled, you can say. You have the whole gender disparity thing. You know what I'm talking about. You have people on the right who are very individualistic. They don't really work well with others. They're so okay with all the competition of the world. But the thing is, you got to have a little bit of both. It's okay to be individualistic and to have the freedom to be able to make a living in this world the way that you want to, as long as you don't harm anybody. Like, absolutely, we all should have that freedom because that freedom is given to us by natural law. We have free will. You understand this? But we have to operate out of love. Although we have freedom and free will, we're living as a part of society here. All right? Why are we competing with one another when we're members of the same race? Why? We don't need competition. Get the fuck out of here. Don't you dare tell me we need competition to create and manifesting. Get out of here. I don't want you. That is not how the divine wants us to live in this world. We are a part of society, and there's no excuse for one person in this world to go hungry. There's no excuse for one person in this world to live in poverty, to not have an education, not to have health care. What I'm saying here, folks, don't mince my words. As long as it's voluntary, get rid of governments. We need to learn the art of self-governance, backed by compassion for our fellow human being, our brothers and sisters. All right? We need to voluntarily share this planet and share our overall abundance in this world. The whole scarcity paradigm in this world is ridiculous. We don't live in scarcity. We live in abundance. We live in a scarcity program because government, religion, and money dominate this world. And you know what? It is those three things there that are a part of the unholy trinity: government, religion, and money. Those three things were brought to this world to enslave the human race. You can bet your fine sweet ass. Those things are here to enslave the human race. They are not a natural part of our evolution. No. Get out of here. Anyway, what I'm saying here is it's okay. First off, we shouldn't be living with money. No government, religion, and money. The next world that we are going to create, folks, it's not going to have these things. Government, religion, and money, they won't even be a part of our language. It would be like some distant memory. Like, what were we thinking? But we're living with it now. I understand we all need money. I get it. Okay, I get it. We're doing the best we can here, right? But the thing is here, folks, okay, I understand capitalism, and I know the argument of we don't have true capitalism, we don't have a true free market, and, you know, we have elite, we have an oligarchy. But still, why would you want to compete with members of your own race, your brother and sister? All right? It's okay to have a form of socialism when it comes to food and education and health, necessary things for us to exist in this world. Keep banging in this microphone, I'm sorry. I'm not talking about government-controlled socialism. I'm talking about just us voluntarily making sure all of our brothers and sisters are healthy. Because healthy humans who are well-educated, everybody's on the same playing field when it comes to truth, leads to an overall better planet for us all. So we better take care of one another. All right? But it's also okay for us to make a living the way that we want to not be taxed. Because taxation is theft, folks. What I'm saying here is the left and the right have been divided purposely because our individual consciousness is split. When our individual consciousness is split, our collective consciousness is split because we share a consciousness. Go back to what I said earlier about Mother Earth. We are all aspects of her in this world. This sphere, we are splinters of her. Her personality as individuals. And we are part of a collective consciousness. What we do as a whole manifests in what we see in the world. You understand? This is natural law. And this has been done purposefully to get where we are right now into 2021. This has been happening for thousands of years by an intelligence that you don't fully understand. Or maybe you do, who's watching this. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to talk down to you here. But this has been purposely done. We have gotten to this point where we are now because we're easier to control when we're divided. When people don't have that holistic consciousness of having the empathy, compassion, creativity, intuition, perfectly aligned with logic and reason. You gotta have both, masculine and feminine. You gotta have both. And most people are running on one particular script, one program that is running in their head, because we're living in a matrix. Don't you forget it. Anyway, I think that's all I want to say in regards to natural law here, but we're going to get to the last part of natural law, which is virtue. I'm going to have a virtue of the day that is pertinent to this topic. So, today's virtue of the day is humility. Humility is derived from the Latin word humus, which means earth. It is the state of being submissive, respectful, lowly in manner, modest, not self-asserting, obedient. Okay. Humility. Notice how it's derived from the Latin word that means earth. And when that definition, the state of being submissive and obedient, what does that mean? This is an objective definition based off of etymology. It doesn't mean subservient to governments or humans. It means obedient to natural law, to God's law, to not being in competition with God. It means being aligned with divine will, which is love. That's what creates order. Not competition, not ego. And you know what is the opposite of humility? Pride. Arrogance, which most people have in this world. And, I think we all kind of have to overcome these things. There are times when I'm prideful as well. And that's not always a bad thing. It's okay to be prideful in your work. But anyway, humility is the virtue of the day today. All of us can learn humility and practice it every day. Virtues are not something that you can achieve. It's something that you have to continually strive for. And to be humble means to know that you don't know everything. Humility means accepting that sometimes you can be wrong and having the willingness and ability to admit that you are wrong and to align yourself with truth. Humility is putting aside your ego before God and saying, I am not a perfect human being. I am not always perfect, but I can always try to better myself and admit when I'm wrong. Okay? All of us can practice that more every single day. And people on the left and on the right need a big dose of humility. And they will get it. Oh, the universe is going to make them humble, whether they like it or not. And it's not going to be very fun. Let me tell you that right now. What is going to be happening to the human race very soon? It's going to be horrible. Except for the people who choose mother. No, we're going to be fine through all this process, I assure you. But a lot of people in this world, the masses, they're going to have a very destructive ending. And it's just, these are the natural consequences the universe is bringing us for collectively being so ignorant for so long, when all of our brothers and sisters have been screaming, look at what's going on. We're not making this up. Look at these conspiracies. But they don't want to listen. But you know what? They don't have to. They've made their choice. We're making ours. We're going in a different way. And we're going to be fine. All right? Anyway, so moving on. Moving on, everybody. So, the next part of this show is perspective number 2. What is perspective number 2? I'm glad you asked. It is altruism. And what is altruism, my friends? Well, let's explore. Altruism is the unselfish concern for other people, doing things simply out of a desire to help, not because you feel obligated to, out of duty, loyalty, or religious reasons. Altruism, all right? It means doing something without expecting anything in return, without looking for attention. Hey, look at me. I just helped this person. I gave them money. It's doing something because you feel in your heart that it is right. You feel it in your heart. That's what matters, because your heart is consciousness, right? So here's a table that I created. And this is very important to look at. So I created this chart. It's called symbiosis. What is symbiosis? Symbiosis is any type of close and long-term biological interaction between two different biological organisms. All right? This is very important to understand. This does not pertain to eating, because all animals need to eat something in the wild. We need to eat something, whether it's animals or plants. That is not what I'm talking about with symbiosis. Symbiosis is how animals behave with one another in nature, not eating, not carnivore and herbivore. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? All right, let's see here. Going back to the chart. Okay. So, starting from the top, you have parasitism. Look on the left. You have parasitism, commensalism, mutualism, and then altruism. Parasitism is the harshest aspect of nature. This is where one organism benefits while another one is harmed, like a tick or a mosquito, right? Now, from an animal perspective, it's just more efficient to live off of others. On the right side of the chart is the human translated motive. Now, this same parasitism behavior is also embedded within human consciousness, but because we have higher consciousness, it manifests in different ways, okay? So for us, parasitism manifests as ego worship, callousness, a dog-eat-dog mentality, a satanic worldview. All right? Most people are parasites in this world. Most people are parasites in this world. Governments are parasites. People who work in marketing and advertising are parasites. It's predatory. You know? Let's go back to the slide here. Okay, the next form of symbiosis we have is commensalism. This is an aspect of nature where one organism benefits, but the other one is neither harmed nor benefited. So this could be like a remora fish that follows sharks and then eats all the fish debris. It's not harming the shark. Or a spider web, a spider that builds webs on plants. It's not harming the plant, but it's not benefiting it either. From a human translated motive, this would be mooching, opportunism, the me first mentality. So of course, this also manifests in This also manifests within our consciousness. Okay, the commensalism, this form of symbiosis, how we interact with each other in this world. There are a lot of people who just mooch off of other people. Now, I'm not talking about welfare. That's not where I'm going. That's not where I'm going with this. But that does manifest. And then going next, the next one down is called mutualism. This is what people need to be aware of. Mutualism. Do you know what mutualism is? Mutualism is a symbiotic relationship where two organisms benefit. This is important Because when people look at nature, most people see all the harshest aspects of nature. You watch a nature documentary, you go for a walk in the woods, you see lions and hyenas acting callous. There's this survival of the fittest mentality, dog eat dog. Everybody just wants to kill one another. Yes, that's one aspect of nature, people. One aspect of nature. You have to look deeper, because nature has so much more than parasitism and all these horrible things where animals take advantage of one another. Mutualism, going back here, mutualism is where both organisms benefit, like pollination. All right, a bee goes to a flower. Okay, the bee benefits because it gets pollen and nectar as a food source. But the plant benefits too because it's now fertilized and therefore it can propagate. So they have this divine relationship with one another. And this is seen all throughout nature. Not all of nature is harmful, people. There are beautiful aspects of nature. All right, the clownfish and the sea anemone, they benefit each other. Fungi and plants help one another by mingling with their root structures. All right. Now, how this translates for human, going to the right side of the chart, is cooperation and exchange of goods and services and group strength, right? This is what we need to start basing our behavior off of. Stop basing your behavior off of parasites, the lions eat zebras and they chase down gazelles and it's all about survival of the fittest. Well, if you're going to base your behavior off of that mentality, then you know what? The universe is going to bring things your way which you are not going to like. All right? Because animals do not pertain to natural law. Only humans do, because we have higher consciousness. We have an advanced soul, advanced consciousness that is much more connected with the divine directly. All right? We need to base our behaviors off of mutualism. How can we benefit each other? All right? But we got to go one step further to altruism, which is even higher on this scale, okay? So parasitism is the worst. That's like hell level of living, satanic living, then commensalism, then mutualism, all the way down to altruism here, people. Okay? Now, altruism is seen within nature. It is debatable, like elephants helping herd members. That is very clearly, we can see that. But from their perspective, it might be more of, well, I'm going to help my fellow elephant here because, you know what, maybe they'll help me out later and, you know, we're stronger as a group. Okay? So, you know, you can say altruism, it's a little blurry. But for humans, this translates to empathy, love, compassion, sympathy, the golden rule. Altruism, folks. This is how we need to base our evolution off of. Okay? 1 second. We need to base our spiritual evolution in this earthly realm off of those aspects of nature which are good, positive, and uplifting. Because they exist. They're everywhere. You can see mutualism and altruism all throughout the animal kingdom. We need to base our behavior off of that. That's why they exist. Mother Earth wants us to look at all these positive examples within nature and for us to base our behavior off of that, but from a much higher perspective, off of love, doing things without expecting anything in return. I'm doing this for you because I love you and I feel like you can benefit from this information. I feel a moral obligation to do so. It makes me, it's the right thing to do. I don't want anything in return for making this show. I want to keep the show going. You're more than welcome to support me, and I'd be grateful for that. But, not all of us are perfect, but we have to start living more altruistically. You understand this? Altruism. This is where the divine is. This is mother. Okay, all the parasitic examples, ticks and mosquitoes, that's the dark one. Because his essence is embedded with creation. When you see a lion go and kill a gazelle in the African wild, okay, that's the dark one. That's his essence embedded within creation. Mother, her essence embedded with creation, with organic life, because mother is the mother of all organic life. Her essence is pollination, animals helping one another. And for us, that takes it to a much higher perspective of doing things out of divine will and desire. That is mother. Okay, and we're going to look at how this applies to the topic of the day, the left versus the right. Okay? All right, let's see here. Where are we at? So what does nature teach us to help with our evolution? What does nature teach us to help with our evolution? That there are good aspects of nature. We do not need to be in competition with one another. We should be creating things and using our creativity to manifest things to make a better world for everybody, not just for personal gain or for ego, but because we share this planet with one another. And we need to help one another because we are all connected. All right? So, this brings us to the next part. WWMW. What would mother do? And I ask this because so many people are focused on what would Jesus do. Yeah, that's great and all if you know who Christ actually was and what he wanted to bring to this world. And you're not some fake Christian who has no fucking clue who he is and what he is all about. What would mother do? What would mother wish? She wishes for all of us to be happy. She wishes for us to live in abundance, not scarcity. She does not want us to live in competition with one another. She doesn't want us to have money. She wants us to live through our divine potential to help each other, to encourage one another, to inspire one another, to empower one another. That is what mother wishes. All right, and this will help us align with natural law to give us the very best outcome. This world is doomed. But if you align yourself to mother, we are going to go down a path that takes us to the next world. I promise you that. And we are going to manifest a beautiful world based off of altruism and in alignment with natural law. So moving on to the last part of the altruism here is the scale of morality. Check out this. Okay. So this is a scale here. Again, going from to left to right. You have parasitism, commensalism, mutualism, altruism. Altruism is the divine. Parasitism is satanic. It is satanic. In the animal kingdom, you wouldn't call it satanic. It's just ticks and mosquitoes being opportunistic. But when it comes to human behavior, it's satanic versus the divine. So what I'm going to do here concerning this topic is I am going to place this star right here somewhere on this scale. So when it comes to this topic of left and right, how people on the left behave, how people on the right behave in this world, are we satanic or are we aligned with Mother? Or are we somewhere in between? I'm going to place this about right here in the middle, actually. Okay? Now think about it, folks. Think about it. Okay. So I'm putting it in the middle here because when it comes to capitalism, for instance, okay, you think, oh, free market, it's great. We all have this freedom. Yeah, of course, that is great. We should be able to create and manifest whatever we want to as long as we're not harming anybody. Yes. All right. And you can say that when you perform a service for somebody or you produce a good for somebody, you exchange these things, that both people benefit. And that is true. Yes, it is true. Which is why I'm placing it in the middle. It's between commensalism and mutualism. Because in mutualism, both people benefit, yes. But in this world, how this manifests is a world where we're in competition with one another. Where when people do a service or a good, it's not about benefiting that person as much as about how much money I can make. All about me. Me first. Because that's the world we've created. We all have to make a living for ourselves. That's why this whole system was created, to keep us in a perpetual state of fear and anxiety through poverty and war. All right? This is not the right way to live, folks. We need to be, let's go back to here. All right? The star here, it needs to be more over here. We need to be over here with Mother. Doing things because we are not looking for anything in return, but because we are connected with divine will. But we are right here when it comes to the right and left paradigm. That's not good. It's going further and further this way, folks. Okay? So that's altruism. It's very important. This builds upon natural law, and this is my contribution to what Mark Passio has laid out. I think this is critically important to understand behaviors within nature. Now that that's over, let's move on to perspective number 3. Perspective number 3 is traditional ecological knowledge. All right. What is traditional ecological knowledge? Well, I will tell you. Traditional ecological knowledge is a cumulative body of knowledge and beliefs handed down through generations by cultural transmission about the relationship of living beings with one another and with their environment. These are gained through the teaching of family history and cultural values. Okay? So when you think about traditional ecological knowledge, think indigenous. All of our indigenous brothers and sisters, whether they're American Indians or people of Tibet or various tribes in Africa, okay, they all have one thing in common, which is they have that deep connection with Mother Earth. They understand the interconnectedness of all life. Not just in this world, but in all the universe, you see? They're not always perfect. You know, many American Indian peoples have started wars with one another and whatnot, but, you know, I'm not going there. At the base of all of their cultural beliefs is this connection to the this understanding of the interconnection of all life. Okay? So, Traditional ecological knowledge encompasses storytelling, what animals represent aspects of our consciousness. How can we learn from animals? Whether the coyote is the trickster, right? We can learn things from animals, take the very best things to help us grow and evolve spiritually. That's what traditional ecological knowledge is all about, at least the way that I'm describing it. I'm not going to put words in the mouths of any indigenous person, but this is my way of expressing it, okay? So one way to look at it is, how can entheogens and plant medicine positively shape our perceptions? All right. When it comes to the topic at hand of the left versus the right, what can entheogens do when it comes to psilocybin mushrooms, peyote, ayahuasca, DMT, salvia dinorum? You know, what can these psychoactive substances do for us? First off, let's describe what they are. Okay? If you're watching this video, you already know. I'm preaching to the choir, right? You already know the value of entheogens for our spiritual evolution. They are put in this world by the divine, by God, by Mother, to assist with our spiritual evolution. They are here for a reason. Okay? They are here for us to understand them, to use them responsibly. Because now, could you imagine how much healing would take place in this world if all these mind-controlled fools would go on a mushroom trip? Because what happens when you imbibe psilocybin mushrooms is Mother comes into your body and shows you things whether you like them or not. And it's not a harmful thing. It's not supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be a gentle way for Mother to show you things to help in your spiritual evolution. And sadly, too many people in this world look at entheogens as a party drug. Fucking fools. Now, if people, let's go to the next world as we're going on this healing journey, as we all unite and go to this next world. How are entheogens going to help us heal this overall schism in our heads? It teaches us Mother and the divine spirits, they come through and they teach us that we are all one. We're all connected. We're all connected. When you harm somebody else, you are harming yourself. Because we are brothers and sisters in this world. We all have different personalities and different perceptions of the world, how we look at things. We learn different ways, and that's okay. Because we're all aspects of Mother, different personalities, right? So how can we respect that about one another? Okay, it's okay to have differences. What matters most is to understand natural law. We can do whatever we want to do as long as we don't harm another human being or another sentient being. Don't infringe on the rights of others. There is no legitimate ruler. All right? We are the rulers of ourselves. And it's a lot of responsibility, but that is how we are free, folks. Okay? So, entheogens, they're here for a reason, and they are here to heal these schisms within our minds, to show us those things that we hide from ourselves. And you have to have humility to know that you were wrong, accept it, and move forward. And that takes a lot of strength. It does. And it's okay to be wrong as long as you move on from that, right? So, Let's also look at this. How would an intentional community or eco-village create harmony? Do you know what an intentional community or eco-village is? I encourage you to look into it because this is going to be our future civilization. It's going to be our future civilization. Okay? So, intentional communities are groups of people who consciously come together with a shared purpose and ideal. These communities are all over the world. You know, they're loosely termed hippie communes, which I think is derogatory. But they're all different. But they all have something in common, in which they want to live closer with one another. It usually involves community gardens. You grow food with one another. Sometimes you share income. You do activities together. You try to help make the world a better place. You make your community more sustainable, more connected and grounded with the earth. Okay, you create houses that are more in tune with the earth. They're sustainable. This is our future. All right, and this is in alignment with this particular perspective, traditional ecological knowledge, because this is how we are supposed to be living with Mother in our hearts and in alignment with natural law. And we should be living in like a village type economy of small communities where everybody knows one another. Everybody is responsible for protecting and defending the community. That is how we're supposed to be living as brothers and sisters. And that's why I have all these images to the right here. These are all things for us to envision our future to look like, all right? Now, I want to look at one more thing here. So, when it comes to traditional ecological knowledge, what animal can we learn from to help us heal this divide and become more balanced? This is my animal totem for the day. Today's animal totem is the dolphin. Dolphins are beautiful. I love them. They're magnificent, aren't they? What we can learn from the dolphin in this situation. Now, how we're supposed to learn from animals is when you look at a dolphin, what traits does it have? What archetypes does it represent? What symbols and themes of Mother Earth does the dolphin represent? When you look at a dolphin, they're very altruistic. They've been known to help whales and even help people. You can just feel the energy from them. They're so tuned into Mother. They live as part of a group. They take care of one another. And you know what else? They also know the art of self-defense. They don't take shit. They will defend themselves against sharks and orcas. They know how to take care of themselves. They don't start shit, but they don't take shit either. Now, what we can learn from them and apply them to even a higher level of consciousness is we should be living altruistically. We shouldn't be in competition with one another. We're one family, one human family. All right? And we should be living with empathy out of our hearts, cooperating with one another. And this is how we're going to heal this schism. So that's pretty much it, folks. That is the first part of the show. All right, it was a long introduction. Then when we got to here, we're going to move on to the second part of the show where I'm going to show you some things, hopefully, to help restore your faith in humanity, okay? So, let's go here. Here's an article from the Good News Network. It's called, After Prosthetic Maker Said It Couldn't Be Done, Orphan Koala Gets New Foot Thanks to a Dentist. Let's check out this article here. When a koala was found next to its dying mother, becoming an orphan wasn't its only misfortune. The rescuer also noticed the marsupial was missing a foot. Luckily, of all people, a local dental prosthetist has been able to help this little one out. The story of how prosthetists managed to save the day is an amazing one. The koala's helper, Marley Christian from Friends of the Koala, was doing her best for Triumph, the koala. She'd been using doll socks to cover his stump, a birth defect. The socks seemed to help clear the discomfort Triumph appeared to feel whenever he tried to put weight on the limb, but Christian felt she couldn't stop there. According to ABC Australia, she began searching the internet for pet prostheticists that might be able to craft an artificial limb. But for a koala, there was nothing to be found. We are told it had not been done and it could not be done. Christian did manage to find an American company that specialized in animal prosthetics, but after a year of trial and error, they could not come up with a design that stayed comfortably attached. So she found a dental prosthetist in her local area of Lismore, New South Wales. He suggested that since he made casts of all kinds of different dentures, he could try his own hand. People do manufacture prosthetics for animals. I've had them done for ducks, dogs, and cats, but no one seemed to want to have a go with this little fella. So after taking casts of Triumph's stump, he created essentially a rubber boot secured with Velcro that immediately returned Triumph's freedom of movement back. His entire demeanor has changed, said Christian. And now he crawls, runs, climbs, and plays. Despite his success with the koala, Dolman decided to stick working with humans over getting involved with animal prosthetics, but he's happy he was able to help Triumph as this little fella was in trouble. How beautiful is that, folks? Look at that. There are still people in this world who are doing good things. I know about all the bad stuff going on. I'm aware of the horrible things that are rolling out. I know. Try to focus on the good. There's no saving this world. We're going to have a good outcome to all this, those who support Mother Earth. But try to see the good. Try to see the good, folks. People are still doing good things. And I want to show you another article here about a human helping other humans. In Texas natural disaster, this furniture store owner heroically offers his store as shelter again. So, due to the Texas incident, folks, the crazy winter that just happened, a lot of people were going through a hard time. So, this guy who owns a furniture store opened 2 of his gallery furniture locations as impromptu warming stations. Over the course of a 72-hour period, him and his crew provided 3,000 plus meals and overnight accommodations to more than 700 Houston residents. After offering shelter to the community on the store's website, he did this in the past to people who suffered from Hurricane Harvey. We're opening up both buildings as shelters during this horrible time, McGivenvale said in a 2017 post to the company Facebook page. We've got lots of beds, we've got lots of food, we got water, and you can even bring your animals. Okay. So, you can go on and read this article. Shout out to Mattress Mac from Chicago. You are an absolute blessing to those in need and an inspiration to everyone. This story has done so much more than warm and feed Texans. It is a beacon of light and hope for our entire country. You are a true angel. I live in Georgia, and this is something that warms my heart. I know y'all are cool and hungry, and to read something like this is amazing. Thank you, Gallery Furniture, for doing this. God bless. Much of this came out of his own pocket, but to him, that's how it should be. To whom much has been given, much is expected. We've benefited from public support over the years, so it's our obligation to open our doors and let people come in to get a respite from the storm. It's the right thing to do. Hey, folks, how awesome is that? There are still people doing good things. There are people helping animals. There are people helping other people. It's not the be-all, end-all to everything, but please try to see that people are still doing good things, you see? Okay. One more thing I want to look at here. So to help spur your imagination, I wanted to show you a really cool design. So we got this article here from Inhabitat. Dolmen shelter renderings imagine stone-shaped guest rooms. So sibling team David and Mary Jalevia, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that name, have imagined a boutique hotel with stone-shaped guest rooms, partially inspired by their housing complex in Moscow. The project, known as Dolmen Shelter, is a fictional rendering that the duo hopes to someday see brought to fruition by their friends in the building industry. And this is what it looks like. Check out these images, folks. It's a landscape design made up of 3 stones. The structures are reminiscent of single-chamber megalithic tombs known as dolmens, which date from the early Neolithic age. So the idea is to move away from the modern house designs that prioritize contemporary shapes and glass and instead focus on more organic shapes. Each stone-shaped suite is made of reinforced concrete and faced with plaster to imitate natural stone. A very few small windows help mimic a cave's atmosphere. Look how cool that looks. Red lighting evokes the same mystery that characterizes ancient dolmens. That looks super cool. Now let's look at the images right up here. How cool does that look? I would love to live in a place like that. And I love the organic shape. This is the kind of ingenuity that we need to bring to the next world. This is more organic, it's more in alignment with Mother Earth, and these kind of designs are all over the world. This is our utmost potential. This is what we can create. Okay? So I wanted to show you those things here. That's always give me a second part of the show. I want to show you one example of human helping human, one example of a human helping animal, and an example of maybe an organic design showing you the ingenuity that is part of our human potential, things that we could bring to the next world. I think these things are awesome. Try to look at the good things going on in the world. Even though we're on a spiral downwards, we need to take all the best aspects of the human race into the next world with us. So anyway, that's really it, folks. That is the end of the show here. Now, how this would normally go, the third part of the show would be taking your live comments and questions. Again, you can submit your comments and questions anytime to streamelements.com/uniting-unbound/tip. The link is always in the description. You can go there anytime. And not only will you have your comment or question read on this show, guaranteed, but you'll also be supporting the show at the same time. So I look forward to having you join me. This is great. I had a lot of fun making this show. I'm going to try to make it shorter next time. But I did have a long introduction. So anyway, that's all it, folks. That is it. So I thank you so much for being here. If you stuck with me to the end of this show, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I promise you we have beautiful things on the horizon. We are going to get through this together. My voice just kind of went up a little. That was weird. We're going to get through this together, folks. So I love you very much. Thank you for being here. You're beautiful and wonderful just the way that you are. Stay with me and stay tuned because there are so many more beautiful things to come. Over and out. I will see you on the next show.